Back in studio with the fellas. Mac, I think this is an interesting moment because I don't want to hand out hats and T-shirts in week one, but if you can steal one in the South on the road in division, it feels like a massive moment here for the Buccaneers to take this win.
You know, when you see divisional play in week one, you have to throw records and resumes out of the window. Anything can happen, especially in the first week of the season, and that's what we saw. Remember, a year ago, Tampa lost a massive game in Atlanta there in the Mercedes-Benz Dome. And we know these two teams are clearly the top favorites in the NFC South. So when you look at the back and forth play, we saw Michael Penix get things going early on with Bijan Robinson.
There you go.
And then you saw Tampa kind of find their stride as well. So for Tampa, they're one of those scrappy teams that are coached the right way, and they're never out of ball games. In a day where the running game was missing, Baker Mayfield was the leading rusher. He had to be because they couldn't get things going in the ground and pound attack. And then he started to find out, oh, yeah, there are some opportunities in the passing game where I can exploit the matchups in our favor. So this was a scrappy win. It kind of fits the image of their quarterback, who was known to be a scrappy guy as well. And to your point, Joe, yes, this was a huge win because the flow of the game was all in favor of Atlanta, for Atlanta, at least 3/4 of this ball game. And then at the end, guess what happened? They pulled the plug on them, courtesy of Baker Mayfield.
This was a great game, and like Max said, this came down to the nitty-gritty as far as the quarterback play and coaching decisions.
Yeah.
I believe the biggest mistake that Atlanta made when they went for it,
midfield.
Midfield, fourth and a long one, and that conversely ended up being a touchdown for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, although it ended up tying the game 10-10, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But that was a huge turning point in that ball game. But for the most part, I love what I saw from Michael Penix Jr.
Yeah.
It seems to me that the Atlanta Falcons coaching staff have nothing but trust in him, letting that kid go out there and throw the ball for 42 times, almost 300 yards. So Atlanta has found their quarterback, so the future is bright for Atlanta. But what a great game, and it looks like the Buccaneers trying to win this division for the sixth straight time in a row.
27 of 42, 298 for Michael Penix Jr., however, in a loss. JJ, we hear all preseason what buildings are excited about what guys, and Emeka Egbuka is one of those names. Hard not to be. I mean, led the Ohio State Buckeyes over his career in receptions, second in receiving yards, and here we see it on wax week one. How exciting is that?
It is exciting. It's also exciting because they don't have Chris Godwin right now, right? They know that they're not going to have Chris Godwin for a couple of weeks. They know they're not going to have Tristan Wirfs out there. You talk about the running game, right? When they get one of the best tackles in the game today, that running game should develop a little more. When Josh Grizzard, who is the new offensive coordinator, remember, of course, that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, last year they had Liam Cohen. He's in Jacksonville. The year before that, they had Dave Canales. He's with Carolina. So they have a new offensive coordinator yet again for Baker Mayfield and this team. And remember, in Tom Brady's final years, they couldn't figure out the run game in Tampa. They were the 32nd ranked rush offense in the league year in, year out. Well, now with you're down Tristan Wirfs, you're figuring it out. That's okay if Baker Mayfield is your leading rusher in week one when you were in the dome. Don't let it be that way in week two. Don't let it be that way in week three. Because Baker, we know that he is somewhat of a maverick out on the field, right? He plays with reckless abandon. He is the guy that is going to propel them back to the NFC playoffs and potentially to the NFC championship game. He has to stay healthy. I don't want to see him running out there too much.
Often a thankless task, the life of a kicker in the NFL, and for a second time here on opening week of the NFL, we see one wide right here for young Wei Koo, and it ends up in a loss for Atlanta.